Yeah, you guys, this is Bobby Bass from Bobby Bass Universe. Well, I started playing bass back in the 80s. But there are actually some things I should have learned earlier, because this would have saved me lots of money and even stress. So here are the things I should have learned earlier. Stay tuned. Yeah, the first thing I should have known earlier is the size of amplification. Well, don't let your guitarist tell you what is right or wrong. Never listen to your guitarist. As a rock bassist, you have always to deal with tons of loud guitars. So the only solution, the only thing that competes with that is a big amplification. This is not big enough. And I show you the one and only solution to compete with these loud guitars. Come on, I show you. Well, you can't imagine how much money I spent before I finally learned one of the most important lessons in being a rock bassist, and before I got the right amplification. And you already know it. It's my Ampeg SVT. Well, 300 tube watts will beat all guitarists on stage. And don't listen to your guitarist. He will tell you, oh, I just got this tiny little amp. It has got one 10-inch speaker. Don't trust him. If it is a small amp, it is even louder and it gets in your ears and it will hurt your ears. So the only solution is the Ampeg SVT, and you are good to go. And don't be that guy that couldn't be heard on stage. Yeah, you guys, the next thing I should have known earlier has to do with these guys. I'm talking about drummers. Well, you know, these guys are not easy to handle, but if you are in a rock band, you have to listen to your drummer. Okay, I hope this was not a big shock for you, but you have to listen to your drummer. And the golden rule is only one freaks out. That means if you are playing some cool licks or anything, your drummer has to be cool. You know, he must play straight. And if the drummer is freaking out, you have to stick to your root notes. Otherwise, this ends in total chaos. To me, as a rock bassist, it's very important to listen to your drummer and to stick to the root note if your drummer is breaking or something like this, and the other way around. So if you're playing cool licks, your drummer has to go straight. Only one freaks out. Another thing I wish I had known earlier is what instrument to choose. Well, back in the 80s, there were these Ibanez Soundgear basses very popular, and I got one. But I couldn't find the right tone. I couldn't find the big, fat bass tone I was looking for. And the reason for that, it was the bass, especially the size of the neck. Get a bass with a thick neck. You need weight to get a deep, warm and fat bass tone. And you couldn't get it from an Ibanez Soundgear, for example. So always choose one of the most popular basses, like in P-Bass or in Jazz Bass or even in Music Man Stingray or any copy of this. But take care of a big neck and you will get that fat sound. Another thing I wish I learned earlier is the part of the bassist in a rock band. Well, I thought I should play something fancy. And I was waiting for the small part in the gig where I was supposed to play a fancy lick or anything, but these were seconds. And I was really nervous waiting for these seconds where I can play a solo or something. Well, today I know this is not why you are in a band. You get the job in a band because you stick to the rhythm, you give the foundation to the band. You are groovy and you are cool. So stick to the root notes, play your eighth and be that cool guy on stage. And everybody will love you. Well, and then there is this one thing. Yes, I wish I had known this earlier. Well, as a bassist, you are the guy that let the other guys go in. Well, you know, as a bassist, you have to deal with lots of curious and strange people, like, for example, guitarists. And, you know, but these guys make everything confusing. You know, if it is complicated in a band, it's always the guitar player. So, what is your job to do? You are the one that keep the guys going, yeah? You have to be cool and you have to be something like a social worker or anything because of, okay, you must be the one who let the guys go in. And don't waste your time practicing notes or anything. Just go out, read some books about handling those guys. And then you are the right bassist for a rock band.